Hello all, welcome to R&D Labs with me Rohan, and in the map series that we are doing, today we'll see how to use MKDirections API in your Swift project. With this API, you'll be able to show the directions from point A to point B in your map view. So, how do we do all this? Let's get started. For this tutorial, we will start off from we left off in the previous tutorial, in which we had seen how to show the current user's location on a map along with a marker or an annotation. So this is what we have done. And when you click on the balloon over here, it will just show the title and a subtitle in which it is written as, "Hey there, I'm here." So for this tutorial, what we are going to do, it's all about directions, isn't it? Directions is all about how to reach from point A to point B, isn't it? So point A, as of now, is our current user's location. But what about point B? So for point B, what we are going to do is we are going to provide the user with a UI text field. So the user will be able to type in the address in the UI text field, and using the Geocoder class, we'll be able to convert the address that the user has typed using coordinates and pass that coordinates to the directions API to fetch our route, which will be showing it on our map view. So this is what the plan is for this tutorial, and I hope you just stick around and follow along with me, and let's get started. So first off, what we're going to do is we are just going to head over to our main.storyboard, and over here we are just going to drop in two controls. The first one is the UI text field, second one is the button. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that. So let's say the text field is here. Let's drag this and make some room within it, and the next control that we're going to drop in is a button. Let's make this a bit more smaller, and the title is directions, which is obvious, and let's save that, and let us bring in two outlets, or rather one only for the UI text field. So for the button, it will be an action. So let's say text field underscore address, and for the button we will just say button underscore directions. So that is the action. So let's say button underscore direction action. Okay, so this is our action right here for the button. Let us close this and we'll head back to our main code view for our viewController.swift class. And here what we're going to do is we are going to add in two delegates. The first one is for the text field, and the second one is for our map view. Okay, so let's add UI text field delegate, and next one is MK map view delegate. So these are the two delegates that we are going to add. The next up, what we're going to do is we are going to create a variable by the name, say, my Geocoder, to transform the address into the coordinates, isn't it? So let's add in a variable over here, say my Geocoder, okay, is equal to CLGeocoder. So this is what our variable is all about, and this will be converting the address into the coordinates. Next, our focus should be on the button itself, in which the action will be used to fetch the text or the address and convert it. So let's say my Geocoder dot geocode address string in completion handler. So this is what our method will be. And over here in the address string parameter, what we're going to do is we are going to pass in text field underscore address dot text, and we need to also pass in the optional value as well. Okay, and we will have to get rid of everything and add in our completion handler, which will be within the curly braces, and let's say place mark and errors. Okay, in, and now over here let us declare a private function which will take in the place mark and errors as an argument. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's write function and let us give it a name as process response. And over here it will take in two parameters. The first parameter is for the place marks, which will be getting it in the array format. So let's give it a name, let's say place marks, and name it as let's say place marks, and the type is CL place marks. Okay, and the next one is the error. Okay, so let's write error, yeah, and let's type error, and let's close it, and let's open up the curly braces. And all that you got to do over here in the IB action for the directions button is self.process response, and we have to pass in place marks over here and errors onto the next parameter. Okay, so this is what you got to do in our button. Okay, I think we have forgotten this in the function declaration, and that is the reason why the error was shown. Okay, so right now okay, why is this an error? Type of expression is ambiguous with more context. Oh yeah, we forgot to declare it properly. Okay, so now I think the call to process response from our action is complete. So this is what you got to do. Now this is the business end of it, where you're going to process the request coming in from the Geocoder API. Okay, so the first thing first that you got to do over here is to just see if there are any errors or not. Okay, so let's say if let error is equal to error. Okay, and then open up the brackets, let's say print hey, I've got an error. So let's say error fetching coordinates, and using string interpolation we will just say what the error is all about. Okay, so let's do this. Next thing that you got to do is you need to process this request, isn't it? So let's say else, and in the else block is where we are going to fetch the coordinates out from the place marks. Okay, so let's say var location, and over here you're going to declare a variable of type CL location, and we are going to next count the place marks if there are any. So just imagine a user just typing a random name for the address, and it doesn't return anything, so you don't need to process that at all, isn't it? So this is a check that we are going to do, and as a best practice you need to first see whether you have anything left in the data set or not. Okay, so let's say if let place marks is equal to place marks, and we are going to count the place marks over here. So okay, so let's say place marks dot count is greater than 0. Okay, so you're going to count the place marks first. Okay, so let's open up and close the brackets. And what's going on here? That is okay. I think yeah, it's quite picky about the spaces. Okay, I think I wrote it right. Okay, and next what you're going to do is you are going to set the location, the first location from the place mark to the location variable. Okay, so let's say location is equal to place marks dot first. Okay, and we're just going to specify dot location over here. Okay, so your location variable is ready. Next what you're going to do is you are going to check if there is any location available or not. Okay, so you have checked whether you have anything returned in the place marks. Next you're going to see if there are any locations available or not. So let's say let location is equal to location, and over here you're going to open up the brackets, and we will have to specify a variable which is going to store the coordinates. Okay, so if there is any available location, you just need to store the coordinates for that, right? So let's say let coordinate is equal to location dot coordinate. Okay, and after which you are going to request the directions API for the directions based on this coordinate. So you have the point A, which is the user's location, and you have the point B, which is coming in from the placement's coordinate. Okay, so you need to remember that when you're going to request MKDirections API, you're going to request three things. Okay, the first one is a source, which is the current user's location. The second one is the destination, and the third one is the transport type or the mode of travel for that location. Okay, so these are the three things that you're going to request the MKDirections API. Okay, so let's say let a request is equal to, and we will have to declare MKDirections API dot request. Okay, and over here we have to specify the source and using our location manager variable that we have declared in our previous tutorial. Okay, so let's say request.source is equal to mk map item, and over here we have to specify the place marks, map item with place mark, and we will have to pass in the CLGeocoder manager 2D class to it. Okay, so let's say mk place mark, and over here we'll have to specify the coordinate in CL2D format. Okay, so let's say CL location coordinate 2D, and let's pass in our latitude and longitude. Location manager dot location dot coordinate dot latitude. Okay, so this is what we had used in our previous tutorial to fetch in the latitude of the current user location. Okay, so and let us use this for longitude as well, and just change this to longitude, and let's give the address dictionary as nil. Okay, so your request is ready. Now let's say what is the destination. Okay, so the destination is let's say destination is the one that got returned back from our geocoder variable. Okay, so this is what our destination is. So again, same lines of code from the previous one. So let's say mk map is equal to mk map item, and we will have to give in place marks again over here. Let's say mk place mark, and let's give it a coordinate, and CL location coordinate 2D. Yes, and let's open up the latitude and longitude variables, and then pass coordinate dot latitude. Okay, and let's say coordinate dot longitude, and give the address dictionary as nil, and you are done over here. So you have the source, you have the destination. How are you going to travel is the next thing that we are going to write over here. So let's say request dot transport type is equal to there are not many. Okay, there are only 4 of it, which is any automobile, transit, or walking. I'll just specify any for now, and you can change it based on your use case. Okay, one more thing that I want to add over here is request alternative routes. Okay, so what does it say? It's a boolean indicator whether your app wants multiple routes when they are available. Why not? Okay, just say true to it and leave it on the MK MapView to do the hard work. Okay, so just leave it right there. So your request is ready. Okay, now your directions request is ready, but you need to plot it on a map, right? So this is what we are going to do in the next few lines of the code. Okay, so let's say let directions is equal to mk directions, and here we have to specify the request variable, okay, that we had declared earlier. Let's pass request, and in the directions API, now we have to calculate and plot it on the map. So let's say directions.calculate, and we have to specify the completion handler for that. Okay, so let's clear everything out, and here you will have to specify a block to kind of process the response and the error in it. Okay, so let's write the completion handler for that. Let's write response comma error in. Okay, and over here let us first check if there are any responses available or not. Okay, so let's say a guard, let's say response, or let's say directions response, okay, is equal to response. Okay, so this is a response variable that we have declared in the completion handler, and let's say else, just return. If there is nothing, just return empty to it. Okay, if there is anything, okay, then we will have to run a for loop to check the route. Okay, so let's say for route in directions response, okay, dot routes. Okay, so you have the routes within the directions response, and let's work with that now. Okay, so let's say my map, which is our MKMapView outlet. Okay, so let's say MapView.add overlay, and over here you will have to specify the route for it. Okay, so let's say route dot polyline. Okay, so you have added the route for that. Okay, and the next line that you're going to add is, but before that we'll just have to specify self over here so that our map is properly addressed and the error is gone. So next what you're going to do is you need to show kind of a region, isn't it? Like you have a directions, but you need to show a region for that direction. So you have something called as regions in Google Maps. So over here what we are going to do in Apple Maps or with MapKit is we are going to specify the rectangle and specify the boundaries for it. Okay, so that the directions that are being portrayed on the map is kind of visible to the user without much gestures to zoom in or zoom out of the directions. Okay, so this is the line that we are going to use for showing that particular feature. So let's say my map dot set visible map rect, and we are going to specify the boundaries for it. Okay, so let's say route dot polyline, okay, dot bounding map rect. Okay, so you have specified the boundaries, and we are going to specify it as true for the animation. Okay, so with this block what you have achieved, you have achieved showing the directions on a map. You have painted the directions on a map. Okay, next part what you're going to do is we are going to render the map. As you must have noticed, we are just showing the polyline and we are just adding the coordinates on the map, but how are we going to show it to the user is the next step that we are going to do. So what we're going to do is we are going to call in the MK overlay renderer for our MK map view. So it's a stub and it's a delegate stub for MK map view. So this is what we write over here. So let's say function. In fact, I'll just scroll up so that we make a lot of room and it doesn't end up below. Okay, so let's say MK map view, and we have something called as a renderer. MapView renderer is over here. Okay, so this is what we're going to use, and I'll just clear this off. And over here we are going to render whatever we have written over here on a map. Okay, so you must have noticed we don't have the color, we don't have the thickness of the line, we don't have the stroke, we don't have anything over here. We are just going to show the coordinates. Okay, but how to show the coordinates is what we'll be writing in this piece of block. Okay, so let's say let renderer is equal to MK polyline renderer, okay, and which will take in a polyline, which will say overlay as MK polyline. Okay, so you have declared a polyline on a renderer variable, and over here what you're going to do is renderer dot stroke color. Which color do you all prefer? I prefer red, but I can also go in for a blue. Okay, and renderer dot align width is equal to, let's say, 4 or 3. I just give it as a 4, and it's in float, so you need to give as 4.0. okay, and we can also give in a renderer.alpha. By default it is 1.0, but I'll just give it right away as 1.0. okay, and that's it. You just have to return a renderer over here. This is a very important step. If you miss this, you are not going to see the polyline at all on the map. Okay, so this is the UI field for it, and this is the input for it. Okay, and I feel it's all okay right now. So let's go ahead and give it a try on our simulator, which is iPhone 12 Pro, and let's see how does it fare. So the build is okay, and all that we know is like this is coming from the previous tutorial. And right now what we're going to search is for Phoenix, and let's give it a try. Search for that, and it will immediately take you to Phoenix. But why is it not showing over here is probably got to do with oh yeah, so we did add the delegate to it, right? So first of all, the text field should have its own delegate. Okay, so that's right, text field dot delegate is equal to self, and next thing that we got to do is my map dot delegate is equal to self. Okay, so these are the two lines that we have missed, and let us rebuild it again. Okay, so let's type in Phoenix as well over here. Phoenix. Okay, and let's press directions, and it should immediately draw a line, as you can see over here. Now, isn't it good that we also show a pop-up or an annotation, a balloon annotation that we had done in the previous tutorial? So let's go ahead and copy paste that. Not much of work, so let's do that and let it look good on the map. Okay, so where do we need to add that? We need to add that right after our block for the directions. Okay, so let's write it here, and the coordinate, we already have it, that is within the coordinate block. So let's add that over here, and the title for that should come from the text field underscore address dot text. We can remove the subtitle, and that's it. So we will run this again and see. Okay, and let's type in Phoenix again. Let's give it a good try, and right there. Okay, so this is what you got to do. The annotations are also appearing. Okay, so this is a route that is shown on the map. So it is that simple to use MKDirections API, use geocoding to find coordinates in your Swift project. I hope you like this video. If you have any doubts, please reach me out in the comment section. I'll be happy to help as always. And please, please, please like and subscribe to the channel. And see you until next time. Cheers.